reports today indicating that the Falcons are interviewing Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh for their head coaching vacancy. So the Falcons, they got to decide quick, because if they really like Belichick or Harbaugh and they really want to bring in one of those two guys, like, time's running out. Because I'll tell you what, the Chargers are interested in Jim Harbaugh. I think the Panthers are interested. I think the Commanders are interested. And I think Las Vegas is interested. I think all of these openings are interested. And I'll tell you another thing. Dallas and Philadelphia, those jobs might both come open within like the end of the week. Because I don't think the Cowboys are thrilled about Mike McCarthy losing that game against his former team. And I also don't think that the Eagles are happy with the way that the players just kind of quit. And that is an indictment on Nick Sirianni. That is an indictment on his coaching staff. So I think there is a real possibility that one or both of those jobs are going to be open within a week. And if the Falcons want to lock up Belichick, you got to make that offer now, and you got to make it one that he can't refuse. Or else he is certainly going to be interested in Philadelphia. He is certainly going to be interested in Dallas. So you got to move quick. And I think they will. I think they're going to try to move as quick as they can. But don't waste your time trying to decide between Harbaugh or Belichick. Figure out who you want the most and make him an offer before that chance runs out. Because that chance will run out eventually. And then you're left with nothing, right? Then you're left with who? You're going to go, I mean, there's other guys out there, but it seems to me like the Falcons really want to bring in a top-level coach. They don't want to settle for Mike McDonald. They don't want to settle for Ben Johnson, as good as either of those guys would be. They don't want to settle for Ejiro Evero of the Panthers, who, by the way, great coaching candidate he is. The Falcons want to win. They want to bring in an elite, legendary head coach. Harbaugh or Belichick, that's the way to go. Don't blow it. Because this is their chance. This is your chance, Falcons. Don't blow it. My guess is they will. Because they're the Falcons. And they always blow it. And you consider the last hire. They hired Arthur Smith. And you're like, it's a fine hire. 7-10. 3 straight seasons of 7-10. What makes the hire particularly bad is that the year after they hired Arthur Smith, Mike McDaniel gets hired to the Dolphins and he goes to the playoffs each of his first 2 seasons. And Kevin O'Connell gets hired to the Vikings and wins 13 games in his first season. And Brian Daboll gets hired by the Giants and wins a playoff game in his first season. So you look around the league and you're like, that's 3 offensive head coaches who got hired after the Falcons hired Arthur Smith, who have all had more success than Arthur Smith. 3. Not 1, not 2. 3 separate guys who the Falcons could have had. But instead, they chose to go with Arthur Smith. Oh, and by the way, Doug Peterson, too, in Jacksonville. So 4. I mean, Shane Steichen, too. I mean, he was hired this year. Shane doesn't really count. He wasn't really on their radar 3 years ago. But they certainly could have given an offer to Mike McDaniels. They certainly could have given an offer to Kevin O'Connell. They certainly could have given an offer to Brian Daboll. They certainly could have given an offer to Doug Peterson. Any of those 4 guys would have been a smarter hire than Arthur Smith. So that's what makes the hiring look so bad. If there had not been any other great offensive coaches hired since Arthur Smith, it wouldn't look as bad for Atlanta. But the fact that they passed over 3 or 4 great options who have now proven that they're better, and they got Arthur Smith, that's what makes it such a bad hire. And that's what worries me about the Falcons moving forward. They've proven in the past they're not great at hiring coaches. We'll see what Arthur Blank decides to do. But my guess is they whiff on Belichick. I think he's going to end up in Philadelphia. I think Sirianni's about to get fired. And I think Harbaugh will want to go to the Raiders. So I'm going to officially predict that the Falcons get Mike Macdonald. I think clearly they're interested in a defensive coach because they're interested in Belichek. They just tried with an offensive coach. That didn't work. I think Mike Macdonald could be great there. Defensive coordinator for the Ravens. I think he could do very well. But we'll see. I think he's going to get a job somewhere. But we'll see what happens. Falcons, I hope that you're able to bring in Bill Belichick because I want him down in the South. I don't want any concerns of him out west for my Seahawks. Put him in the South. Play him once every 3 years. Sounds good to me. But sorry,